Arugula dietitian, and welcome to Healthy Made Simple, where I show you how to make healthy eating simple. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 3 meals that are healthy, balanced, and nutritious meals, and also incorporate some of our favorite frozen convenience items, such as chicken nuggets and pizza. Now, these are some of our go-to meals, especially on the weekend, where we don't necessarily want to spend the money on takeout or hitting up a fast food drive-thru, but we also don't really want to cook a fresh meal at the same time. So we whip out some of our frozen staples that we like to keep in our freezer and put together healthy, nutritious meals like the ones you're about to see in order to make better choices for our family. Now, if you or your family enjoy things like chicken nuggets and pizza, I hope this gives you ideas about how you can make those better balanced and more nutritious meals at the same time. I'm a huge believer that moderation is key, so these meals are meant to give you a realistic view of what moderation can look like. And to me, what moderation means is that on weekends and off times when we haven't really meal planned and meal prepped, I give myself the permission to enjoy some of the foods that are our favorites, which does include chicken nuggets and pizza. And I like doing that in a way that's going to be a healthy, better choice. I don't just say, we're eating pizza, we're eating chicken nuggets, might as well go all out and do the whole shebang with the nuggets and the fries and the soda, or the pizza with lots and lots of slices of pizza. Instead of doing that, I like to find ways to make that a healthier, better choice. So I hope this video helps show you that as well, so that you can maybe incorporate these into your meals, whether it's for a weeknight meal or a weekend meal, whatever it may be. I hope it gives you some ideas. So let's get started. Let me show you some 3 healthy, nutritious meals that incorporate frozen foods. Alrighty, let's go.
The first meal I'm going to be showing you is chicken nuggets, veggie egg rolls, and cucumbers. And we eat chicken nuggets a lot around our house, so we buy these Panko chicken nuggets, the white meat Tyson ones from Costco. And yes, I know there are a lot of options out there for chicken nuggets nowadays, some that are healthier options that are maybe lower in sodium, lower in fat, less processed, but this is the one that we buy typically because it's number 1, the most cost effective. Number 2, nutritionally, it's still pretty good if you look at the nutritional label. And number 3, our family enjoys eating this one. So this is the one that we always keep around the house. Chicken nuggets are a pretty common meal for us. I would say we make them at least once a week around the house, and we use our air fryer for chicken nuggets, just because it helps give that nice crispy crunchiness without having to fry the chicken nuggets. I've never deep fried a chicken nugget before, but we used to use the oven for it, and I find that the air fryer is just way less effort than having to fire up an oven, especially during the hot summer days. So we do air fry chicken nuggets pretty regularly around the house, and if you or people in your family enjoy chicken nuggets, this hopefully gives you an idea of how you can make that a balanced meal, not just for yourself, but your family as well, so that you get more nutritional value out of the meal without having to skip on chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets absolutely can be part of a healthy, balanced diet. They're made with white meat, which is a lower fat option to begin with. Yes, of course, there is some processing that goes into it, but if you make some solid decisions about how you balance it all together, it'll turn out just fine, I promise. So I'm going to put those in my air fryer at 400 for 4 minutes to begin with. And after they cook for those first 4 minutes, the next step is going to be to take these guys out, flip them around, and put them back in for 4 more minutes. And if you enjoy cooking but maybe don't have the time to cook it, or if you maybe have kids around the house that keep you busy and you just feel like standing in front of a stovetop is not necessarily reasonable for you, I highly suggest looking into an air fryer if you don't already have one. I know a lot of people got them during the pandemic, but if you haven't gotten in the air fry game, it's a really easy way of making quick, healthy meals that still taste good, that still give that crunch factor that a lot of us look for in the meals. And you don't have to closely supervise it like you would over a stove if you were cooking with a pot or a pan. So if you want to get into cooking, or if you want to get back into cooking and you just aren't sure how to do it, or maybe you don't know very good recipes, air fryer is a really good place to start, because if you follow the recipes to a T most of the time, they'll turn out just fine. And you really can't go wrong when you're crisping up your food. Now, as you can see, flipping over chicken nuggets can sometimes be a difficult process, especially if you got a camera that you're trying to film it with and you're trying to stay within the shot. But I promise you it's easier when you're just doing it yourself without having to record it. But the flipping around of the chicken nuggets really does help them crisp up on both sides. And it's nice for both me and my husband. Yes, my son likes chicken nuggets because he's a toddler, but we like chicken nuggets too. So why not find a way to incorporate that into our diets as well, so we can still all eat the same food but make healthier decisions. And again, I'm going at 400 for another 4 minutes to finish up my chicken nuggets, which are going to be the protein portion of this meal. Next, I'm going to do vegetable spring rolls. Now, keep in mind this meal I'm showing you is typically like a weekend meal for us, where we want to do something a little out of the ordinary, and egg rolls can be a great way of, one, incorporating more vegetables, because these are veggie ones, and I get this pack from Costco. They come in little egg roll bags like this with with sauce packets with it as well. So I just divided up however many it came with the number of sauce packets. I believe maybe there were 2 or 3 sauce packets in there, so that we can make that many meals out of it. But those are the egg rolls, and the box does come with instructions on how to do it using different options, but I decided to go with an air fryer with this one, just because I already had my air fryer going with the chicken nuggets, so I thought might as well put the egg rolls in there too. Now, something like veggie egg rolls like this can be a good alternative to, one, incorporate a little bit more vegetables from that filling. 2, this is also going to be my carb option here, so take that into consideration when you're doing egg rolls. Of course, the wrapper you have, that's your carbs. So when I'm looking at my plate and I'm creating a balanced plate, if my chicken nuggets are my protein, and that's going to have a little bit of carb as well, because keep in mind it's got the breading. Now, the protein is a quarter of my plate, right? And the other quarter of my plate is going to be the carb. And if you can do a carb that also incorporates some sort of vegetables like this, it's a nice 2-in-1. And with this, I'm going to go in at 380 for 4 minutes with these. And these are going to get flipped around and go back in as well, just like we do with the chicken nuggets. Now, if you think of egg rolls, typically they're not necessarily considered to be a healthier option because they are deep fried. And these are a little bit crispy to begin with. I'm sure there's some sort of a cooking process that has already been done with these before they are frozen. But since I'm air frying them instead of deep frying them when I'm warming them up for my family, that's already a healthier alternative. And sometimes you have to think of food and the choices you're making as, is this a better option than what I would have done typically, or what my alternative would have been? Yes, egg rolls may not be what pops to mind when you're thinking of a healthy meal, but if you were going to go eat fast food instead, if you were going to hit up a drive-through fast food, this is of course a better option, because one, you're cutting back on the fat by air frying these at home, or maybe sticking them in the oven if you don't have an air fryer. 2, you got some veggies incorporated on there. 3, you're finding a way to make this a balanced meal. You're not going to go to a restaurant and be able to order chicken nuggets and veggie egg rolls and the other options I'm going to be talking about. But having staples in your freezer like these that you enjoy, that also satisfies your soul too, because food isn't just nutrition, it's also what makes us happy too. So we have to think about how to make food enjoyable for ourselves too. Finding these alternatives, and again, I'm going to go in at 380 for 4 more minutes with this one, but finding foods that fill those multiple different aspects of food for us really helps make it easier to put balanced meals together at home. All right, I'm going to go in with my chicken nuggets first, like that's the protein portion of my meal, so I'm going to keep that to a quarter of my plate. And I typically, for myself, go with about 5 chicken nuggets. That could be up to 8 if I'm hungry. With my husband, he may have up to 10. It honestly depends on the day, depends on the meal, depends on how hungry we are. But typically about a quarter of the plate is my protein. And then the other quarter, like I mentioned, my egg rolls are my carbs here. So I'm going to use that other quarter of my plate as my carbs. Now it's going to spill over a little bit, and I'm going to keep in mind that yes, the egg rolls have a little bit of veggies in that, so that could count towards my veggies a little bit. And just to make it easier on the vegetable side, I just sliced up the cucumbers. Cucumbers are a really easy vegetable to incorporate if you're not big on vegetables, or if you're looking for something that's easy to prep, because all you have to do is just wash and cut them up. Honestly, you can just stick a whole Persian cucumber in there too if you didn't want to cut it up. And that's the dipping sauce that came with the egg rolls as well. And there you go, a balanced meal. And I gave my son pretty much the same exact thing. He had the chicken nuggets, the cucumbers, just one egg roll that I cut up, and he had some leftover fruit as well, just so I could make his fruit and vegetable portion a little bit bigger. And there's the inside of that veggie egg roll, where you can see there's edamame in there and some vegetables. So that's why I counted that a little bit towards the veggie portion, but of course I want to have another vegetable on the side, like the cucumbers, to create a better balance for my plate. So that I don't walk away from the meal feeling super duper full, but satisfied instead. Alrighty, so that was a nice meal for us. Meal number 2 I'm going to be showing you is cauliflower pizza with lemony, basil, arugula salad. And for my cauliflower pizza, I use this Kirkland Supreme cauliflower crust pizza. If you have not bought these before, these come in a 2-pack. It's exactly like the Supreme pizza you would get at Costco. You used to get at Costco, they don't have them anymore, but instead it has a cauliflower crust, which is going to be a healthier alternative versus just a regular dough crust, because we're incorporating more vegetables here. All right, and I'm gonna be starting that with preheating my, and there is the frozen pizza, just comes just like any other frozen pizza out there. We keep this pizza in our freezer at all times. Every time we go to Costco, we restock on these. We all enjoy the taste, and it makes an easy, simple meal, especially on the weekends. And the instructions are in the back. They're gonna go in for 425 for 17 to 19 minutes. So I'll get started with preheating my oven for my pizza, and then I'm gonna get started on the salad on the side. And pizza can absolutely be part of a balanced meal, especially if you're picking a pizza that's going to have protein already incorporated. Now, of course, if you can do protein with some sort of a grilled chicken or something, even better. But if not, this works too. And here's that lemony arugula basil salad kit that I got from Costco. And when I'm doing pizza, I always like to do some sort of a vegetable on the side, and salad kits usually go pretty well, especially something simple as this. This is going to be a darker leafy green with the arugula, and you got the lemony taste and the basil taste in there. And this doesn't come with any sort of a protein incorporated already. This is strictly my vegetable on the side. So I'm relying on my pizza to be my protein and my carb here. And it's going to come with a little fixing on the side, so I'll put that together while I talk about how you can balance pizza. Pizza can absolutely be part of a balanced diet, as I mentioned, as long as you're making sure you're getting enough protein from your pizza, and of course your cheese is going to provide some protein, and then if you add extra protein on the top. If you can do healthier options instead, like grilled chicken, even better. But if not, and honestly, if you're in the mood for some pizza with the good old Supreme toppings, then doing a cauliflower crust instead can be a healthier alternative. And my salad didn't fit in that small bowl, so I'm just moving it to a bigger bowl before I add in my dressing and the toppings and mix it all together. And when you're doing salad, doing a simple salad like this along with your pizza helps give you those extra leafy greens that you're of course not going to be getting from the pizza. And this one came with some chopped, I believe, almonds that added a nice little crunch in there. And nuts can be a great topping for salad because 1, they add more texture with the crunch. 2, it's another nutrition boost because you get some healthy fats from there. 3, it adds variety and fun, so you're not just chewing on greens and feeling like you're just eating leaves, but that there's more fun to it. And of course, came with a little bit of cheese, which I'm going to add on. I'm a little weary with cheese. I'm lactose intolerant personally, but adding some cheese on a salad helps add some extra protein on there as well. And of course, adds more variety to it too. So when you're doing salads, get a salad kit if you're not used to making salads at home. If you don't want to buy salad kits, get some toppings that you like, that you want to incorporate on a regular basis so that you can add those on, because it can get boring very quickly to just be eating some chopped up greens and veggies all the time. You got to add something in there to create a little bit of a fun factor to a salad. Yes, I know salads aren't fun, but you know what I mean, just to add more variety to it. All right, I'm going to mix all that together a little bit before I add in the dressing that came with the packet. That's the one thing to be mindful of with any salad kit, is that of course a bulk of the calories that you're going to get are going to come from that dressing. So when you're looking at the nutrition label, sometimes they'll split it as salad without the dressing calorie or nutritional content, and then salad with the dressing nutritional content. So just take a look at that. Honestly, I'm never really concerned about the fat content of dressings. I know low-fat dressings used to be the thing. Fat is never really my concern. My concern is more so the sodium and the sugar that would come in a dressing. So just check the sodium content to make sure you're not getting, half of your sodium content in a day from your salad dressing, and check the sugar content as well. And a couple guidelines that I like to use anytime I'm looking at sugar, I'm trying to keep it down to less than 10 grams of sugar per serving that I am eating. And that's where you need to be careful. Look at what you're eating, and there's my salad all mixed together. That's going to go on the side. And with sodium, if you're aiming for about 2,000 in a day, then about 500 in the serving that you're eating. All right, my oven is preheated, so we're going to put the pizza in. It does say to put the pizza directly on the rack, which we have never done. I always put down some sort of a parchment paper underneath it, just for sanitary purposes. And after my pizza cooks, there it is. And there's my husband pulling it out. There's our cauliflower crust pizza that has been cooked up. And look at that. You don't need to go out ordering pizza, which is going to come with just probably pizza and breadsticks. And chances are you're not going to order a salad if you're ordering from a pizza joint. So instead, get some frozen pizza for home, get some salad kits for home, so you can make that a balanced meal at home instead. And it's going to be more affordable too. Ordering takeout nowadays has been expensive. So finding ways to make it more affordable at home is definitely a way to make it easier to follow a healthier diet. One of the biggest concerns that a lot of people have is that eating healthy is expensive. But nowadays, eating unhealthy is expensive too. So if both are going to be expensive, let's find ways to make it affordable so that we can put together a plan that works for us long term. Alrighty, now I got my plate. Let's make that a balanced plate. I'm going to aim for half of my plate to be vegetables, which is going to be that lemony, arugula, basil salad, a nice big serving of that on the side. And of course, once that's on my plate, the next side is going to be my pizza. And as we talked about, the pizza is both my carb and both my protein in this sense. I know it's going to be low carb just because it's cauliflower crust, but I am getting a lot of extra fats from this, from the processed meats as well as the cheese. So that still creates a good balance. There you go. And when there's a close-up of that basil arugula salad and the pizza that came with it. And I'm okay that this is a lower carb meal because it's heavier on the fat with what my pizza entails. So that still creates a good balance between veggies, protein, and carbs. And here's how I served it to my toddler. Again, he got the same pizza we did. And instead of doing the arugula salad, I just gave him some cucumbers. I gave him some grapes on the side for some extra fruit and some animal crackers for funsies at the end. All right, and there's a balanced meal for both of us. And the last meal I'm going to be showing you is grilled chicken patties, rice medley, edamame, and watermelon. And I know that sounds like a mixed mash of random things, but I promise it's going to be good together. All right, here are the grilled chicken patties I use. I get these from Costco, and these are fully cooked. So all you have to do is just warm them through, And there's different ways to do it. In a pinch before, and they come like this, just stacked together, pre-cooked grilled chicken patties. In a pinch before, I have stuck these in the microwave, and honestly, they're not that bad in a microwave. So if you ever need to do something quick, these can absolutely go in the microwave. But if I have the time, I do prefer spraying that flat top you see behind there with the canola oil spray and cooking them on my flat top, which I think gives more of that grilled chicken patty feeling to it. Now this is going to be the protein. As you can see, a lot of times I start my meal by thinking about the protein. I never want to skip on protein when I'm putting together a meal for us. Every meal we have needs to incorporate enough protein because protein, one, helps keep you full. Two, it's what our body needs in order to keep our muscles strong, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Protein is really important to help maintain that muscle mass you have so that your body loses the fat as you're losing weight. And while my protein is going, I have these organic edamame packets that I get from Costco as well. They come in packets like these, and these are microwavable and a really super quick, easy way of incorporating veggies. So while my grilled chicken is cooking, I'm going to throw that in the microwave. I'm also going to be cooking up this frozen rice medley from Trader Joe's, and it's a mix of different rices, and they come in packets like this, and that's going to go in the microwave too. So as I'm working on grilling up my chicken, I'm going to be using my microwave to heat up my edamame and heat up my rice. That's all going to come together as a meal. But starting my meal off with my lean protein, my grilled chicken patties, and of course, if you have the time to grab chicken patties, fresh or raw, and grill them up like this and season them, then go for it. But for us, especially on a weekend where we're trying to have fun with our toddler, we don't want to spend a whole lot of time cooking, and we still want to make a nice homemade meal, these are a really good alternative to incorporate more lean meats to our meals. All right, so those are coming along well. I just flip them over and over, and of course, if you're better at grilling, you'll probably do this better than I will, but honestly, you can't mess it up. It's already frozen, pre-cooked. All you gotta do is just make sure it's warmed all the way through and you don't burn it. Pretty simple, I would say. All right, and there are my grilled chicken patties cooked up. That's gonna be the protein portion of my meal that's going to be coming up. So for now, I'll put those off to the side while I finish everything else that's going to go on my plate. Next thing I'm going to show you is the rice. So I cooked up 2 bags of that rice medley that you saw from Trader Joe's, and we use these very regularly. Rice is a pretty common side dish for us to beat our carbs, but I typically don't really have the time to cook rice, and I don't have a rice cooker at home either. So having frozen rice medleys like this really makes it easier. 1 pack is not typically enough for the 3 of us, so I like to do 2 packs to have a little bit of extra left over for lunch the next day. If you're a single person, you may be okay with just 1 pack, which would give you some for leftover too. And with these, just to add some flavor to it, I'm going to use these Earth Balance veggie sticks, veggie spread sticks. And we got used to using these when we found out that my son was allergic to dairy, which he no longer is, but we're just in the habit of using them as our alternative to butter or margarine. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm just going to put a knob of that in there. Feel free to put a little bit more if you like, but I find that adds enough of a fat content to it to make it nice and moist. And then I'm just going to go in with some salt and pepper to season it. Nothing fancy here. It's just a side rice dish. And if you wanted to get creative with how you want to season your rice, you absolutely could. Cater to the flavors that you enjoy, that your family enjoys, to make this a reasonable meal for you. But for us, a little bit of butter, some salt and pepper just works fine to make a nice rice dish. And I like doing a rice medley like this that's going to incorporate a couple different rices. And anytime you're doing some sort of a carb or grain on the side, trying to do whole grains as much as possible helps increase the fiber content. And 1, that's going to keep you full. And 2, it's going to help you with using the bathroom regularly as well with your bowel movements. And if you're trying to be healthier, if you're trying to lose weight, you got to keep in mind that what goes in also needs to come out. If you're not able to have bowel movements regularly, if you struggle with that, chances are it's going to affect your weight loss efforts too. Because if you're not eliminating the waste that's in your body, then you're not able to give your body a chance to eliminate the things that it needs to in order to actually lose the weight. So if you're struggling with weight loss and constipation, really focus on increasing your fiber content with doing more whole grains, and of course making sure that you're staying well hydrated, because if the water is not there, the bowel movement will not move. All right, here's my plate. So let's see how we balance that. There's my grilled chicken patty, which is going to be 1/4 of my plate as my protein. And then the next 1/4 of my plate is going to be that rice medley that I made. So I'm going to stick that to the rest of the 1/4 of that plate. And again, this is going to look like a random mixing of things, but it tasted really good all together. As long as you're hitting the components, it doesn't have to be one cohesive dish. As long as it tastes good, what difference does it make, right? And then I'm gonna do 1/4 of my plate to be edamame, and you could do half of your plate edamame to fit that half veggie goal that you're going for, but personally I don't like edamame that much to eat a half a plate of edamame. So I'm going to stick that to 1/4 of my plate, and then I'm going to finish off the last 1/4 with some watermelon because it's the summertime, it's been warm, it's a nice refreshing fruit to add on, and we usually have a lot of cut up watermelon around the house, so that helps fill that half of my plate to be fruits and vegetables. And of course, if you can do half vegetables, ideally, great, but if you can't, or if you don't want to and you want to do some fruits instead for variety, then go for it. I guarantee you it's better than doing half of my plate as rice instead. And let me show you how I make this even more delicious when I'm putting it all together so it doesn't taste so dry. So you see that grilled chicken? I'm just gonna cut it up, and I know it's a patty meant for a burger, but it worked just as fine to cut it up. And then for my flavoring, I'm going to use this vegan tzatziki dip. And since I'm lactose intolerant, I buy the vegan one for myself and I get the regular kind for the rest of the family. And that's what that looks like. And this creates an awesome kind of drizzling, dipping, mixing sauce to go on top. And this is something we use pretty regularly because that cooling effect of the tzatziki goes well with the grilled chicken and the rice. If you've ever had like a rice bowl, like a Mediterranean rice bowl, you're bound to throw some tzatziki on top. So why not replicate that at home for a nice, simple, easy, healthy meal like this? Delicious. Alrighty. And there's that rice, and the rice goes well with that tzatziki dip too. There we go. All right. And then there is my son's plate. Pretty much add the exact same thing we did, just put in different components, and I guarantee you he ate a lot more of that little component of watermelon that you're seeing on there. He ate way more watermelon than that. But there's his balanced meal, which is the exact same meal that we had.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped give you some ideas for how to make better balanced choices while also incorporating some frozen products that make it easier to prep some meals and make some healthy choices on the weekend so that you don't have to order takeout, you don't have to hit up a fast food drive-thru. And I hope this gives you some ideas about some frozen food staples that you can keep in your freezer to make more affordable choices as well. If you like the content that I produce, please hit that subscribe button to help my channel grow. If you have any suggestions for other things you'd like me to incorporate, other videos you'd like me to make, please leave a comment down below with your suggestions and I would love to take them into consideration. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope you find ways to make healthy eating simple for you too. Alrighty, have a good one. Bye.